All right, welcome in everyone to this deep dive. Today we're going to, we're going to a zoo.
Virtually, of course.
Right, virtually, of course.
But a zoo, nonetheless.
Yeah, our source material today is actually this really cool first-hand account of a field trip to the Central City Zoo. And it's with,
Miss Johnson's class.
yeah, Miss Johnson's fourth grade class.
That's right.
And it's so detailed. You really feel like you're there with them.
Absolutely. And that's what I think is so fascinating about it. You know, it's not just a list of what they did.
Right.
It really captures the energy and that, like, palpable excitement in the classroom that morning.
Yes, it mentions like weeks of preparation beforehand. They were learning about, animal habitats.
Yeah, their diets, behavior.
Even conservation efforts. So you just imagine these kids are like, they're practically bouncing off the walls. They're so ready for this trip.
Oh, totally. And it's so important because, the source material really makes this point that Miss Johnson, she's a good teacher.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't just plan this randomly. She very deliberately connected this trip with, like, what they'd been studying in class.
Oh, interesting.
But the kids are getting this chance to actually see those textbook facts, those, like, the things they've been reading about come to life.
It's like theory meets reality.
Exactly.
Wow. So the bus pulls up.
Yeah, and I just picture those doors opening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got to be instant sensory overload for these kids, right?
Oh, absolutely. All the sounds, the smells, the excitement.
Total chaos.
But Miss Johnson, she's got a plan.
Of course she does.
Like any good teacher does.
Yeah.
Immediately, the source material says she divides them all up into smaller groups.
Right.
Each one with a parent chaperone. Now, at first glance, standard procedure, safety first.
Yeah, totally.
But there's a little bit more to it than that.
Oh, there always is with Miss Johnson.
Always is. The source material mentions that she specifically paired up students who weren't necessarily already close friends.
Huh, interesting.
Right, and she gave each of those little groups an observation worksheet that they had to complete together collaboratively throughout the whole day.
Oh, wow. So she's really using this as a team-building exercise.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
Not just, safety and order. She's really thinking about, those soft skills, observation skills, teamwork, all those things you need later in life.
It's like a multi-layered learning opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. It just goes to show you, a field trip can be so much more.
Right. Than just, the subject matter itself.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of memorable encounters, we got to talk about the monkey.
Oh, yeah, the monkey.
What happens next is, well, you won't believe it.
I'm ready.
So the kids, they've, gotten over that first rush of excitement. They're starting to explore.
Yeah.
They make their way to the primate enclosure.
Uh-oh.
And things get a little, well, let's just say a little wild.
A little wild. The source material, it mentions this one particularly mischievous primate.
Oh, this little guy?
Who decides he wants to try and steal a student's lunchbox?
Oh, no, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
You can picture the scene, right? Shrieks of laughter, kids scrambling.
I bet that chaperone was a little bit terrified.
Oh, probably. But what's really cool is that Mrs. Johnson, she doesn't, freak out.
Right.
She uses it as a teaching moment.
She didn't miss a beat, does she?
She doesn't. She points out to the kids, the monkey's not actually being bad. It's just instinct, right? This is how they forage for food in the wild.
It's natural behavior.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, that's some impressive on-the-spot teaching.
Right. Turn a chaotic moment into a spontaneous lesson about primate behavior.
She's good.
She's good. But the real learning curve, it seems, comes a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
When they reached the elephant habitat.
Ah, the elephants.
The source material, it mentions this noticeable shift in the students' demeanor when they get to the elephant.
Oh, really? How so?
It's like they instinctively sense,
the power of those animals.
Yeah, the power, the wisdom, I don't know. It's like a hush falls over the group. They become much quieter, much more observant.
Yeah, I can just imagine it.
And the source material even quotes one of the students as whispering, "They're so wise."
Wow, yeah, that's beautiful.
And this is where the zookeeper comes in, right? Because it just so happens.
Oh, they get a special little talk.
They do. They get this behind-the-scenes little chat with the zookeeper.
Awesome.
And you feel like you're there with them,
Yeah.
The source material goes into such detail about how the zookeeper explains all the intricacies of the elephant's trunk.
Oh, yeah. The trunk is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. Over 40,000 muscles.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Enabling it to do everything from plucking a tiny blade of grass to, communicating through infrasound.
Wow. That's the kind of stuff you just don't get from a textbook.
Exactly. It's those little aha moments that make this deep dive so compelling.
It's not just recounting the field trip.
No, it's more than that.
It's like it's giving us a peek into those moments where learning just transcends the ordinary. and it becomes, like, truly captivating.
Right. So we've got playful monkeys, we've got wise elephants.
A very talented teacher.
A very talented teacher who can turn any situation into a learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
But we're not none yet.
Oh, no.
We still have reptiles and an entire aquarium to explore.
Okay, let's go.
You know, it's really interesting. The source material points out this transition in the field trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like from that, high energy of the monkeys
Mm-hmm.
and those awe-inspiring elephants, we shift over to the reptile house.
Okay.
And the whole atmosphere just changes.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right? It becomes almost hushed, like contemplative.
It makes sense. I mean, reptiles, they're different, right?
They are, yeah. And what's fascinating is the source material mentions Mrs. Johnson, like specifically encouraging the students to use their, quote, scientist eyes.
Oh, I like that.
Right, in the reptile house.
Yeah.
And she reminds them that, reptiles, they're often misunderstood, sometimes even feared, but they play these super important roles in their ecosystems.
Right,
But
absolutely.
it's like you can almost feel that shift in perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Instead of, shrieks and laughter, it's like
Yeah.
focused observation, a real attempt to appreciate these creatures.
Exactly.
And the source material, it dives into some really cool details about, like, specific adaptations.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Right, so for example, it talks about how the zookeeper pointed out the heat-sensing pits
Oh, wow.
on a python's face.
That's cool.
Yeah, and how they use those to, like, detect prey in the dark.
It's amazing. Suddenly you're not just looking at a snake,
Yeah.
you're understanding how it experiences the world.
Exactly. And this focus on adaptations, it continues as the group moves on to the aquarium.
Okay.
The source material describes the students being completely mesmerized by the underwater world.
Oh, I bet.
The colors, the movement, the sheer variety of life.
Yeah.
It's totally sensory immersion.
Oh, I can only imagine. I remember my first trip to an aquarium as a kid.
Yeah,
I was blown away. It felt like stepping into another dimension.
it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, like a secret world.
Totally.
And what's really insightful, the source material connects this back to the earlier observations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Miss Johnson, she's prompting the students to compare and contrast those adaptations.
Yeah.
Land animals versus aquatic animals.
So he's helping them see the bigger picture.
Yes, the bigger picture of evolution, of biodiversity.
That's pretty sophisticated for fourth graders.
It is, right. But the source material suggests that, they got it.
Yeah.
One student even remarks something like, it's like they all figured out their own way to live,
Wow.
even if it's totally different from ours.
It's such a profound observation.
Isn't it? And it makes you realize we often underestimate kids,
Yeah.
their capacity for understanding complex ideas.
I think so, too.
Especially when you present those ideas in an engaging way, in an experiential way.
100%. It's all about making those connections.
Right, yeah. This whole field trip, it's like a master class in bringing education to life.
It really is. And as we get towards the end of the day, you'd think the kids would be exhausted,
Oh, yeah.
ready for a nap, right?
For sure.
But the source material describes the bus ride home
Oh,
as anything but quiet.
really? Tell me more.
It seems like those students, they're just bursting with thoughts, with questions.
Oh, wow.
Not just recounting what they saw.
Okay.
They're actively debating, analyzing, sharing their own interpretations.
Hmm.
One group, they're arguing about camouflage.
Oh, wow.
Another group, they're pondering the ethics of keeping animals in captivity.
It's amazing. It's like that field trip
Yeah,
planted these little seeds of curiosity,
it did.
and they started to sprout right there on the bus ride home.
And Miss Johnson must be so proud.
I know, right? It wasn't just a day of fun. It was a catalyst for deeper thinking.
It really was. And amidst all that excitement, all that chatter,
Yeah.
there's this recurring theme of gratitude.
Oh, that's nice.
The source material mentions how the students keep thanking Mrs. Johnson,
Oh,
not just for, taking them to the zoo, but for opening their eyes
yeah.
to a whole new way of seeing the world.
It really speaks volumes about the power of a teacher.
Doesn't it?
A passionate, dedicated teacher.
Absolutely.
She went above and beyond just imparting facts.
Right.
She fostered this sense of wonder,
Yeah,
this love for learning that will probably stay with these kids for years.
I think so. And that's what makes this deep dive, so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you, the listener, can connect with.
Yeah.
Think back to your own childhood.
Yeah.
Was there a field trip, a museum visit, a walk in nature that sparked your curiosity?
It's amazing to think
Yeah,
how those seemingly simple experiences can shape our interests,
right.
even our paths in life.
Absolutely.
Like for me, it was a visit to a planetarium when I was about 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
I was captivated by the vastness of space,
I bet.
the mysteries of the universe. It sparked this lifelong fascination with astronomy.
That's wonderful. It just shows the power of experiential learning, right?
Yeah,
It's not just about memorizing facts.
right.
It's about connecting with knowledge on a deeper level.
Exactly, on a personal level. And that's what makes a field trip like this
Yeah.
so much more than just a fun day out.
For sure, for sure.
It becomes a catalyst for exploration, a springboard for future learning.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's inspiring to think it doesn't have to be this big, elaborate thing.
Right.
Sometimes the most profound learning moments happen in really simple settings.
Absolutely. A walk in the wood, a visit to a local museum.
Exactly.
The key is approaching these experiences with a sense of openness,
Yeah.
a willingness to be surprised, to learn something new.
That's it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, our listeners, with a challenge.
A challenge. I like it.
Think back to your own childhood.
Mm-hmm.
What experience sparked your curiosity? What moment opened your eyes to new possibilities?
Yeah.
Hold on to that memory.
Mm-hmm.
Revisit it. Let it reignite that spark of wonder within you.
And remember, the world is full of opportunities for discovery.
It really is.
All you have to do is embrace that curiosity, keep exploring, and never stop diving deep.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day.
Oh, absolutely.
And forget about those moments that really shaped us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so important, I think, to revisit them.
It is.
To remember those sparks of inspiration.
Absolutely. And this field trip, this account,
Yeah.
it's like a perfect reminder of that.
It is. It shows how powerful those hands-on experiences can be.
Yeah.
You know, going beyond the classroom, connecting with the subject matter on a deeper level.
For sure. It's not just about, reading about elephants in a textbook.
No.
It's about seeing them up close, hearing them breathe.
Yeah, yeah.
Feeling that sense of awe.
And you know, it's not just about animals. It's about anything that ignites that passion for learning.
Right, exactly.
Whether it's art or music or history.
It could be anything.
Anything. The key is to nurture that curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
to keep exploring, to keep asking questions.
To never lose that sense of wonder.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners out there, I encourage you, embrace your curiosity, keep diving deep.
That's what we're all about.
And who knows, maybe you'll inspire someone else along the way.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Okay.
It's been a real pleasure exploring this fascinating account.
It has. It's been great.
With all of you, until next time, keep learning, keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.